Welcome back to Atlanta and Company. I'm Christine Polaris. So happy you're with us this morning. Well, it may seem far away, but are you looking forward to February? Yes, it'll be nice to get flowers from your honey on Valentine's Day, but even better is getting credit card reform from good old Uncle Sam. The Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act for credit cards is going to be signed next spring. I know it seems so far away, and most of it will go into effect in February. It's the most wide-ranging credit card reform we have ever had, and it couldn't come at a better time. Well, wondering what all this means for you and the cards in your wallet? Well, the shopping queen, Fatima Metakarimi, is here to tell us what to expect. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Well, I'm wondering, I wish it would happen sooner, but hey, if we have to have it in February, at least it's going to happen, right?
Exactly.
What do we need to know? What are the most important things that are going to finally affect our bottom line in a positive way?
In a positive way, very positive way. Before we talk about any of the changes, the most important thing to know is that to take advantage of these changes, you have to be a good customer.
Oh.
So if you're a good customer, the banks are going to be good to you and the government is going to allow them to be good to you. But if you've got late payments or if you have other issues going on, then those are the loopholes that the banks are going to use to take advantage of you. So make sure you're definitely paying your bills on time.
Right, they're not going to reward you for your bad behavior.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. So having said that, the biggest and most important change is going to be rates. So it's no longer going to be every time you open your bills that you're going to have a different rate or not know exactly what's going on. So for the first year, they're not allowed to change your rates at all, raise your rates at all, unless you have a promotional rate.
Okay.
And the promotional rates must be valid for 6 months. And after that, if they want to increase your rate, if you have a standard fixed rate, they have to give you 45 days notice. And any rate increases would apply to future balances, not existing balances.
Right.
So those are really going to help you to understand what's going to be happening with your finances. It's not like you buy something and then suddenly they change the rules on you.
Right, like you could have a kind of a large balance, which many people do, and then all of a sudden go from 18 to 28%.
Exactly.
And that seems like it's happening now. I noticed it happened on 2 of my cards, even when you make the payments in a timely manner. They really kind of sneak that in, so this will eliminate that.
Right, and I will actually say too that July and August, because they're busy months for people,
right,
are typically when banks institute new rates or fees or changes. So even though you are busy, make sure that you are reading your statements and if there's any additional notices in there, because you will see a lot of gotchas. They're trying to take advantage of all the ways they can get money out of people before the new laws go into effect.
Yes, it's so interesting. We tend to get the mail. I don't know about you guys, but I toss it out, and you really have to read the fine print. So tell us also about, is it going to be harder to get credit cards?
Well, it is going to be a little bit harder to get credit cards because one thing they will take into account a lot more is your payment history and how much you can actually afford to pay. So it's no longer if you have great credit, you can get, endless amounts of credit cards. They will take into account your income, other fees other things that you might be responsible for paying for. So they will make sure that if you're getting this credit card or if you're requesting a rate increase, that you can actually afford to pay for it. But with paying for it, they have instituted some laws that will definitely make it easier. For one thing, that your payment will be due on the same day every single month. So it's no longer, you're not quite sure, is it due in the middle, at the end, what day is it due? So you know when it's due, and the due times have to be reasonable, like typically would be 5 p.m. close of business or midnight, not some random like 3 p.m. or 2 p.m., something like that. So it'll be very clear for you to know every month when you have to make your payments.
What about the dreaded penalty fees?
Dreaded penalty fees, yes. One of them that people get stuck with a lot is, for example, over the limit fees.
Right.
Now you have to actually opt in to an over the limit fee.
Wonderful.
In order to be charged that. And you can only be charged it once per month. So it's not like if you hit your over the limit twice per month or 3 times per month that they will charge you more than 1 time. So they can only charge you once, and only if you've opted into it.
Right. I know that is a way that they get you, because the point is, if you're going over it, they say, save me on the fee. Yes. Just say, no, you can't.
Exactly.
We're declining this purchase.
Exactly.
That's what people would want, rather than getting charged with all these fees.
So now if you want it, you opt into it. Otherwise, your transaction transaction will be declined. So that is going to be a really good thing as far as helping people to really keep their fees down. But the fees actually are now going to be overseen by the Federal Reserve and other government parties as making sure that they're quote-unquote reasonable fees and that they're not asking excessive over the limit or late fee or any other types of fees that they plan to institute.
Okay, and how will they determine the finance charge?
Your finance charges will now be determined based on when you made the purchase. So if your finance charges, if your interest rate at the time of purchase was say 12%, then that would be the percentage that you would pay for the life of the balance. And when you make your payments, the interest rate with the highest interest rate is what will get paid down first. So it's no longer if you have a 3% promotional rate and a 12% rate that when you make your payment, they apply it to the 3% and you're stuck paying the 12%.
Right.
So now it's reversed. They force the banks to apply it to the highest interest rate first.
Good. And let's talk about, we're getting back to school here, college students. It is like a target. These companies just target college students who think, hey, I've got an empty card here full of cash, let's spend it. How will we tighten up on that?
Well, college students have been heavily targeted, heavily marketed to, and quite honestly, a lot of schools have allowed that to happen. But now the new laws actually make the schools accountable. So marketing to students will be drastically limited.
Good.
As well as no more freebies. So no more free t-shirts, free mugs, free pens, no incentives of any kind to entice students, young consumers as they're called, anyone under the age of 21 to apply for a credit card. But even more importantly, that no one under the age of 21 can apply for a credit card without a cosigner.
Perfect.
The only way that you can do that is if you can show your own independent means of actually paying for that card. So if you don't have a job, if you don't have any income, your parents must be co-signers in order for a college student or a young consumer to get a credit card.
Well, finally, yeah, that makes sense. If they don't have money, they shouldn't have the card. So this is all terrific information, and I know it can seem pretty overwhelming to all the consumers and myself. So where can we go to get more information?
I've got all of this information on my website, but another great resource, Consumer Reports actually has a special website that they've set up.
Good.
So it's called creditcardreform.org, and there's a link to it on my website as well as on Atlanta & Company that they can go to get the exact link to where all these new rules are. So that's a great website to check out.
Okay, help is on the way, everyone. I know it seems like it's a long ways away, but it'll be here before we know it. All right, thank you so much, Fatima. Good to see you. Now, if you would like more money-saving tips, ideas, and of course coupons, visit the Shopping Queen's website at shoppingqueen.com. Looking for some